Hey there, my friends, and welcome back to Making Memories. Today, we are talking about the updates at Disney, the Disney Cruise Line, the Wish, and the update to the CEO of the Disney company. Let's get into it today. Thanks for joining me. My name is Michael, and welcome back to Making Memories. Let's start it off first with the Disney Wish, the brand new ship coming to the Disney Cruise fleet. It technically is already here. It's in Port Canaveral. It's doing its thing, getting ready for that maiden voyage. Now, I know a lot of friends are like, Michael, are you going on the maiden voyage? Let me answer that question right up front. The answer is no. Two reasons. First, I was actually scheduled to be on the third cruise and canceled it because I had a friend's wedding, but then Disney canceled that cruise anyway, so I didn't have it. And so I was like, all right, I guess I'll just push it to another time. And I had other things I had to attend to. Next thing you know, a couple of dates are sold out, and I'm like, I'll get to it when I get to it. That's fine. For the next one, since I will be platinum at the point where the next cruise ship comes out, we'll be able to go on the maiden voyage. So that'll be great. I'm looking forward to that. It's just this time, it just didn't work out. Not only could I not get maiden voyage, but that other cruise I wanted to take on the Wish didn't work out because of my friend's wedding, and then other things came up. So not this time, but next time. But we're going on the Wish really soon. Don't have an exact date yet, but it is coming soon. The second reason is because some friends have said it could be cursed.
A terrible curse.
Wait a minute, Michael. Cursed? What do you mean? Well, there's an old ship's tale that says that if you utter the name of a new ship before it is fully constructed and at the naming ceremony, before the naming ceremony, technically that maiden voyage or first cruise out by that new ship is considered a cursed voyage, and everyone on board would be cursed. Now, if you believe in those things, then maybe that's enough of a reason for you not to go on the maiden voyage. But to be honest with you, all the cruise lines are talking about the names of their ship before even one piece of steel is laid down. Take the Iconic class. I believe the first ship is going to be known as the Iconic from Royal Caribbean, and many other ships currently have their names and just basic steel's being put down. So every cruise liner is starting to do this. I don't know why. It was an old tradition to not say the name before the naming ceremony, but who knows? This is just part of the world we live in now. I guess that's not really an excuse not to go on the maiden voyage. It was more scheduling issues. Another piece of the reason why I'm not on the first one is price, but we'll get back to that in a minute. The Wish, though, it does look absolutely spectacular. However, the christening ceremony came and went, and it was interesting, but at the same time, I feel like it was a little lackluster. There was a wine, champagne bottle, and it was virtual. I don't think I've ever seen a virtual champagne bottle hit the side of a ship, and it didn't even hit the side of the ship. It was just kind of popping virtually. I would have used the real champagne bottle personally, but that's just me. Even though they put like a little crack in it just to make sure it breaks and it's, doesn't hurt the ship at all. It's just totally fine. Just, you snip a cable, and then I've seen it before on these other ships, and then the whole thing just kind of falls down and hits the ship, and it's perfect every time. Then it launches, and there you go. And I feel like that would be super nice, but they didn't do it at the time. But that's fine. That's just part of it. This time they just they had some songs. They were saying how we're looking forward to everybody being on board. Spoke for a very brief time about what's on board, and then they were done. So I was expecting a lot more from the christening ceremony than what we saw. But on top of that, it kind of leads to another part of the conversation I want to have today. We're going to kind of touch on all the conversations like interchangeably through this episode today. But let's talk now about Bob Chapek being renewed as the CEO of the Walt Disney Company. Now, if you've been following this for a while, Bob Chapek has not been, let's just say, has not been known as the best CEO of Disney as he's getting started here. And many believed that he would not be continuing past that initial period that he was kind of put into place as CEO. I have to be honest with you, I didn't think he'd get it either, but the board unanimously said that he was the best choice for the job. Is it because he had people fired who would have taken his place, or is it because there was no one else to take his place? Or I don't know what the exact reason was that it was unanimous, but the stock price hasn't been this low in a while, and there's a lot of controversy around him. So I don't understand why they did it this way. I think it has to do with more of like, they all want to be nice to each other. Maybe they got some deals going on with each other in the board, and they're like, okay, we're gonna do this for you, and we're gonna do that for you, and that's just how they're doing it right now. And it wouldn't surprise me if that's how it went down. Now, if he can actually follow through with what the board is saying he will do, let's just hope that he can. I am an optimist. I believe that everybody deserves, I don't know, first, second, third chances, right? And you say, okay, you're going to make changes, you're going to make things better, let's do it. But from what we've seen in the past and the direction that Disney is going, it's not looking that way. Maybe things will turn around. Maybe it'll be totally different in the future, but I highly doubt it. If we're given what we've seen from Bob Chapek, and keep in mind, the CEO does not necessarily impact every single little change at all the things under the company, but I think it's a really good example at Walt Disney World where well, we've seen changes happen that many people do not agree with. The biggest one is how they treat the guest and money. This seems to have become much more money focused and less about the guest experience. It's just from on the ground experiences that I've had and many others who I've spoken to. And I think that's the difference. When you're the CEO, it's kind of tough to judge how everyone's feeling because, you know, online people just say stuff and that's just the reality of it. But when you're actually on the ground and you speak to people, like you're standing in line at Space Mountain, it happened to me the other day, and we just came up with a conversation. I'm just chatting with people. It's like, oh yeah, this used to be different. You used to be able to play games as you're walking through. It's like, oh, that would have been nice. It's like, yeah, we got the virtual games now. And then it gets into a conversation about the direction that Disney's going. And this family I spoke to has been going for 20 plus years. And it's like, I don't think we're going to be coming back. That is a huge warning sign, which is why I keep talking about it. You're saying to yourself, Michael, do we need to keep talking about it? I think we do, because without a big change, I don't think Disney's going to be in that place that they want to be in the future. It's just my hope that they kind of listen to the guests on the ground. Don't listen to me. Go to the other guests on the ground. Listen to the guests on the ground. I guess get more of those surveys, but people aren't necessarily super honest in those surveys, and figure out a way to actually get the guests' feelings of how they feel on the ground. That's me. We'll see. Maybe that'll happen. Maybe it won't. Probably won't. But we'll see. Now, something that was also kind of interesting at the christening ceremony, and I want to hear your thoughts about it. Josh D'Amaro and Bob Chapek, who are both C-level executives, C-suite level executives at Disney, were there talking about the Wish, and a lot of people love Josh D'Amaro. Let's see, and you kind of can hear it from Josh D'Amaro. He's actually speaking here, talking about the cast members who put it all together, put the Wish together, made it all possible, designers and crew members, everybody. So many people put this together, but he really kind of goes forward talking about Bob Chapek. Let's take a closer listen.
From start to finish, more than 22,000 people worked on this ship. And Bob, I want to thank you for a moment here and recognize the teams that have spent years dreaming about the Disney Wish. I appreciate everything that you do here. The teams they've built it. They've been getting it ready for all of you.
It's interesting. Josh D'Amaro was like, oh, it's all about Bob Chapek, 20,000 people, but then Bob Chapek's leadership. I'm all for a strong leader. We need a good leader to run the Disney company, no question about it. But I don't follow this part of it. Like, yes, of course, but imagine you're CEO for a moment and you say, yes, we did this. We're going to make great experiences for the guest. I don't really need to be thanked in that moment. Like, it's fine. Like, you work for me. I don't need you. I don't need that. I don't need that. That's me. That's just me. And these speeches were rehearsed. So I don't know. To me, that was a little bit interesting to hear it that way. Again, a lot of respect for Josh D'Amaro. And, look, Chapek's going to do what he's going to do. And we'll see. Let's let him prove himself. He's got another 3 years. So, make some good changes. Again, I'm a positive guy. I want to see good things. I don't wish ill on anyone. And I'm hopeful that changes are made that make it a more positive experience for all of us. That's me. Now, in addition, during the christening ceremony, which was fine, it just wasn't, I don't know, not as much as I was thinking it would be. Bob Chapek actually did something really interesting, which it doesn't really relate, but I do want to talk about it in this episode about Mickey and Minnie. Let's just listen and hear this one.
But now it's my pleasure to welcome two stars who know a thing or two about making wishes come true. Please help me welcome Captain Minnie Mouse and her friend Captain Mickey Mouse. That to me was interesting. Her I don't think I've ever just, maybe, tell me if I'm wrong, I don't think I've heard it said, Captain Minnie Mouse, I'm all for her, I love her, she's great. Captain Minnie Mouse and her friend Mickey Mouse? I don't know. That to me just was weird. It was just weird. I don't know. Maybe they're just going a different direction with it, which is fine. It's just, to me, that was very strange. Coming from the not reinstated, but newly extended CEO of the Disney company. I don't know. Let me know. I thought that was just odd. I just hadn't expected to hear it that way. Best part of the christening ceremony by far were the kids and the fact that at first when I heard that the Disney Wish did not have an official godmother or a person to kind of kick it off, they had just a group of children. It was a little weird, right? You're like, okay, why is there a group of children who are just wishing the wish off? But when you think about it, it's the Make-A-Wish children who are making the wish happen. You know what I mean? That was special. That was a good call. That was a good one by Disney. I like that. We'll see how it plays out. It's not really that important. The godparent of the ships do not matter at all, but to have that as kind of like a signifier that this is like all about the wish, I like that a lot. I really do. And Disney's actually putting their money where their mouth is for a couple of these, where they're inviting some of the Wish kids on board to be some of the first guests on board the Wish, which I think is fantastic. Now, on that same note, another question comes up. As the CEO of the largest entertainment company in the world,
The question is, you're the face of the company. I know we have the Disney ambassadors, which are great. A couple cast members who go way out of their way and kind of act as kind of the face of the company during some of these big events, kind of for social media and all that. But as the CEO, you really have got to be there for the big events. So it was great to see that, the CEO was there for the Wish, which is super important, really important that he's there. That being said, when he's at these kind of events, the audience is tightly controlled, right? Who is there? Who is in the audience? Who can watch this? Who can be there? And so the question becomes, can he do the same thing on the stage of the Magic Kingdom in front of an unvetted audience, right? There are a lot of people in the community who say that he couldn't, right? He just simply couldn't because he is so unpopular. I don't know. I genuinely do not know what would happen in front of an unvetted audience, but I think it's a question that they have thought about it as well, right? They do not want to see a large group of people who really disapprove of this guy in a very public way, and for that to be shared all over the internet and videos, and that would be really bad, a bad look for the company. So I think that they're slowly trying to probably work on his image just a bit so that they can improve that. Now, that being said, in order to really improve his image, he's going to have to make some of those difficult decisions and put the guest first instead of putting money first, as many of us have felt that it's currently happening. I don't know if he's going to do that or not. I'm hoping he will. Again, optimist over here, but we'll have to wait and see, and see what happens with him. I think it's a decision that it's I don't think it's as unanimous as we think it is, right? And maybe it's unanimous so that the board seems united behind it, and so that the share price doesn't dip as far as it needed, as far as it could. But as soon as the announcement came around that he was being extended, you'd think that, okay, if he's the person for the job, the stock price should shoot way up. No, it actually went down at the announcement. And I'm not saying that just to be funny or whatever. I think that it's a bad thing. That's not what should happen. It's because he's been surrounded with controversy since he first took the position as CEO. And I think that both, all guests have kind of seen that happen, whether they realize that it comes from a higher level or just kind of see the parks as in a different light. Guests have seen a difference at Disney parks and at the movie theaters, just as an example. So there's certain things that are happening all around the company that I think really need to be addressed. And my hope is that over the next 3 years, things change and get better for all of us. But I have no doubt that in the much longer term, they will get better, right? Whether it be the CEO, next one, doesn't matter. I think longer term, things are going to be good at Disney. But that's just my optimistic self. Now, one of the biggest announcements that I took away from the christening ceremony was the confirmation that Disney is, yes, indeed, still building those 2 other ships to go along with the Disney Wish. I'm hoping we'll be on the maiden voyage of those other ships, but the fact that they are coming, I think, is a fantastic piece of news that came out of the christening ceremony, because we hadn't heard a thing. We didn't know for sure, right? We heard originally that there were going to be 3 new ones, but since all the closures and everything that happened with the closures around the world, there was no understanding of whether or not all 3 would be coming out. Now, finally, we've got confirmation that that is indeed the case.
This ship kicks off the largest expansion in Disney Cruise Line history. And I'll tell you, our future here, it is boundless. We'll be welcoming 2 more ships to our fleet and a second tropical destination in the Bahamas.
That confirms not just the 2 other ships, but we got that other destination, the other private island. They have confirmed it finally. Biggest news out of the whole thing. I am super happy about this. It means we've got so many more opportunities to see all these great ships, to go and explore and have fun. Maybe it also means bringing the price down a little bit with more of the ships all over, but I have a feeling that they are not going to stay, all of them, in the United States. It's very likely that some of the older ships, the Magic and the Wonder, possibly even the Fantasy, could be moving to other parts of the world to kind of allow for more cruising from different parts of the world. The guests would be from maybe Asia or possibly from maybe Europe. A lot of more European cruises. That would mean the Magic going overseas permanently. So that's something that we'll find out together, but the fact that this has been confirmed is, in my opinion, a spectacular thing. Those are some of the biggest updates for today with the Bob Chapek update, the Disney Wish, and even more. I am very excited about the Wish, but I'm also super excited about the other cruises that we've got booked over just this year. I've got several more different cruise lines booked that we have never tried before, and I am so excited to share all of those with you. It is going to be a spectacular adventure as we continue through 2022. Thanks so much for being a part of the magic with me today. It means so much to be able to share it all with you. A special thanks to our patrons for making all of our videos possible. Until next time, have a magical day, and I'll see you real soon.